Good evening and welcome back. I'm Mary Love and this is Country Living. Tonight we're going to be making some fried chicken, some fried squash, and I made another pot of my green beans that I made the other night because I really like them with the bacon and the onions and the new potatoes cooked in them. And they've been in the crock pot since about 11 o'clock this morning. We had to get up early this morning, my husband and I, and go to the doctor for our 3-month checkup. I have to go every 3 months because of my diabetes. He could go every 6 months, but he just goes ahead and goes when I do. But I did get a good report from the doctor. Back in March when we went for our last 3-month checkup, my cholesterol was 269. Yeah, 269. And my A1C had went from a 6.1 up to like a 7.3. But by the grace of God and me finally getting my head out of my backside and taking my medicine like I'm supposed to and watching what I'm eating, I got my cholesterol down to 189, which the doctor was really happy about that. It's still a little high, but we're working on it. And I got my A1C back down from a 7.1 that it had got up to, or 7.3. But anyways, I got it back down to like a 6.5. So still not as low as he would like it, but it's a work in progress. But anyways, back to the task at hand, dinner. So I'm going to put you down here where you can see I'm going to make a dry rub to put my chicken legs in, because I'm going to deep fry some chicken legs. And as you can see over there on the stove, I've got my Dutch oven with some oil heating up in it right now. Because once I get this dry rub on this chicken, I'm going to let it set for about 10 minutes before I put it in the deep fryer. So I've still got to, let me grab some eggs and a cup of water. Slamming, banging. I'm a very noisy person. Alrighty. Kind of get some stuff here moved around where I can see what I'm doing. Alrighty. And here's my chicken legs. So and I got some gloves on because earlier I cut my finger taking the lid off of a jar of those green beans. So, for safety purposes, I have on gloves. Alrighty. For this dry rub, we are going to mix together a teaspoon of celery seed. It's going to take a teaspoon of all of these except for the black pepper. The black pepper, I only put about 1/4 of a teaspoon. But the rest of them are going to get a teaspoon. So we got celery seed, salt, paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, and accent. So let me get all of these in here, and I'll put the recipe below. This is not my recipe. I actually got this from another lady that I watched on YouTube, and I really liked it. I tried it, and it tasted really good. So I've been using this for fried chicken when I want to deep fry it ever since. So let's get some salt, or accent, not salt. Here's the salt. I guess I could put you down here where you could see what I'm doing in this bowl, couldn't I? So far I've got celery seed, some accent, and now I'm putting some salt. So how was y'all's day today? This is paprika. I hope everything went good for you. Garlic powder. Ooh, I love the smell of garlic powder. And onion powder. those in there. Now we're going to put, I just used 1/4 teaspoon, maybe not even quite that much, of black pepper. And we're going to give this a little stir. Get it all stirred in there. Alrighty. We're going to get this chicken over here. We're going to sprinkle it on this chicken. Kind of toss it around a little bit. I love me some fried chicken. When I was a little girl, every Sunday morning, I'm going to get my scissors and cut that little piece off. Every Sunday after church, my mama fixed fried chicken. Of course, my daddy was the preacher, so preachers and fried chicken, they just go hand in hand. Lay that right there for a moment. So I love me some fried chicken. My first job that I ever had was at Kentucky Fried Chicken. Alrighty, now we're going to add 3 eggs. Let me wash my hands off first. I bet some of y'all was about to cringe thinking I just touched that raw chicken and was fixing to touch something else. And I almost did. Thank goodness I caught myself. Alright, 3 eggs. There's 1. 2. One more makes 3. We're going to add some plain flour to this. We're going to, well, I'm using self-rising flour, but it don't really matter. I'm going to add, I'm guessing this little container right here, this little bowl, is probably, yeah, I think it actually says in there. Yeah. Read it. It says it's 1/4 cup. So this is, we're going to add 1/2 cup of flour to this. Or no, we're just going to do 1/4. That's going to be a plenty. And now we're going to add 1 cup of water. And we're going to mix this up. I have to add a little more flour. That's going to be too wet. Yeah, that'll work. Let me rinse my hands off again. We're going to add some more flour to that. That's not enough. I forgot to write exactly how much flour it took, so. Add some more. See how that does. This ain't the prettiest looking stuff, but man, does it taste good. Okay, that's going to work. Because this is going to get deep fried. And I want this to set, like I said, for about 10 minutes. I'm wiping that skin down. One more. Alrighty. We're going to let those set. Let me get this nasty looking stuff out of the way. Put it over here. Out of the way. Push my hands off again. Now once the oil, let me get you back up here. Once this oil gets heated up to 350 degrees, it'll take it just a little bit. Then I'll drop this chicken in there. I'll put the lid on my Dutch oven, set the timer for 22 minutes, and let it fry. I will not lift up that lid during that time. And it will make some of the best golden fried chicken that I think I've probably ever eaten. So, let me get my thermometer gauge, and we'll see what that temperature's at so far. Turn this down just a little bit. It's heated up, so we're going to let that chicken set for just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and get some squash cut up. My husband went out in the garden and found me 3 squash. Couple of summer squash and a zucchini. Yum. Love me some fried squash. Now I don't slice mine in rings like most people do. I slice it in little chunks. I like it that way. Let me set this out of the way. This could go throw my trash away. The knife. Nope, that ain't the one I want. We're going to use this one. We're going to use a good knife. I'm going to cut the tops of these off. Get that bottom piece off. And I already washed them. Alrighty, now we're going to slice them up. I'll show you how I slice them. About 1 inch thick. Then I'll slice them in 4s. Woo! About dropped it. Don't do that. That's what they look like. Let me grab a bowl so I can put them in it. Been working outside trying to get the swimming pool cleaned up. Our pump went out, so we had to order a new one. And with all the rain and the heat, that pump is a nasty mess, or the swimming pool is a nasty mess. But I'm about to get it cleaned up. It's just a little work, but it'll be worth it. Ooh, these squash are going to be so good. One more. I'm just going to cut that one like that. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. Alrighty, we got that done. Now I'll season them up with some nature seasoning, as usual, and some flour, a little bit of cornmeal, not a whole lot, but a little bit. Get the nature seasoning out of the cabinet. You gotta love it. Sprinkle some of this on here before I put the flour and stuff on it, where it'll kind of stick to it. Give it a little toss. A little bit more. Ooh, it's gonna be good. My mouth's watering already. Alrighty. We're gonna put some flour in here. Well, you know what? I put some scraps in my little cup that come out of my flour box. Sprinkle it with some flour. Little cornmeal. There we go. Give it another little toss. Flour powder going everywhere. Flour dust. Oh, ooh, I made a mess. Woo. Well, good thing I didn't need my glasses. Let me grab a rag and clean that mess up. Good grief. Hang on, y'all. I'm moving you. Alrighty. That's better. Now I don't got flour everywhere. That was a little messy. Alrighty, I'm going to put this chicken, I know it probably ain't been 10 minutes yet, but that's alright. I'm going to put this chicken in this Dutch oven over here. And we're going to get the lid on it, and we're going to let it go to cooking. We're going to swirl it around in there just for a minute so it don't stick to the bottom of the pan. Turn that down just a little bit. I'll see if we can get the rest of these other two in here without it bubbling over on me. Alright, now we're going to put the lid on there. Set that timer. 22 minutes. This in the sink. Things are popping. Alrighty. We're going to let that cook for just a little while. And about halfway through, I'll put my squash on to cooking and get it in the pan frying up. And we'll be back here in just a little bit. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and add my squash to my frying pan. Ow! That was hot. Not quite hot enough just yet. It ain't sizzling yet. Turn that on right and see what I'm gonna do. Ooh, it's getting there. Chicken's got about 10 more minutes to go, and then we'll let it set for just a minute or two before I take it out of the pot. Alrighty. We'll go ahead and add this. Now then, I'm going to let that cook for just a little while before I ever turn it, so that it gets a crispy coating on the bottom side. So I'll let that cook for just a few minutes, and then I'll flip it. We'll be right back. I went ahead and put another 5 minutes on that timer for the chicken, because those were pretty thick chicken legs, and I want to make sure they're done all the way through. So we'll be back momentarily. Now ain't that just a pretty sight? From that ugly mess a while ago to some gorgeous looking golden brown southern fried chicken. It just don't get no better than that, I don't think. I will be back here momentarily with some fried squash, and we're going to plate up some dinner and get to eating. Be right back. Today when I was in the doctor's office waiting to go back for my checkup, I was looking through a book, and let me turn you this away. There's a little bit of a glare in my glasses. Anyways, let me take those off. I was looking through a magazine, and I found this recipe for strawberries and cream cupcakes. Don't those look yummy? Now, the receptionist at the desk, she told me, she said, now when you make those, come and let me know how they are. But I'm going to make some and take them to them. And instead of the red sprinkles, since it's almost 4th of July, I'm going to put some blue ones on there for red, white, and blue. But don't them look good? Can't wait to try it. I'll be right back. Look at that squash. Don't that look delicious? I can't wait for dinner. Alrighty, we got fried squash, some golden brown fried chicken, and some yummy green beans and new potatoes. So I'm going to get my dish plated up and give this a little taste test, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, now look at that. Don't that just look mouth-watering good? Still a-steaming, it's so hot. But we're going to give it a taste. Some of this delicious squash fresh out of the garden. That'll put a step in your feet. That'll make you want to do a little dance. Green beans, yummy. Good for you. Now then, let's give this chicken some try. Woo! That's hot. But man, that's good. Mm-mm-mm. That's delicious. I'll put the recipe for that seasoning mix that I made up down in the description box. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you're new to my channel, I hope after watching this that maybe you liked what I cooked, or maybe something I said made you laugh, and you'll consider subscribing to my channel. I'm not a fancy cook by no means, but I do enjoy doing this. I thoroughly enjoy making these videos, a lot more than what I thought I would. It's fun getting on here. My husband seems to like it because he's getting a fully cooked meal, seems like, every night. But with that, I will tell you, God bless you. I hope you have a wonderful evening. May you wake up in the morning refreshed and renewed, ready to meet the day. May your cup overflow so much so that you can't contain it all. God bless. I pray that you all have a safe and happy evening. And until we meet again here tomorrow, have a good evening.